Thank you for being here and join me in this webinar that we are talking about escrow. I received too many questions during my career about how the escrow works here in Puerto Vallarta and Rivera Nayarit. So I decided to invite to this webinar to Deborah and Pablo that they work with Armor Secure. And I want that the people that they are seeing this, you that you are in the other side of this screen, well, that you get to know more about the services that they provide. And if you're planning to buy a property in Puerto Vallarta or Rivera Nayarit or in Mexico in the restricted zone, well, that you know that they are the best that you can use them. So, hi, Deborah, how are you?
Good, and yourself, Alfonso?
Good, good, good. Well, first, could you introduce yourself a little bit more about that? You can tell people who you are, and then you can tell us for how long you've been working in Armor Secure.
Sure. Actually, we've been working with Armor Secure. Well, actually, we used to do Fidelity National Title, which was constituted in the U.S. And this was actually done in 2008. So we've been operating since 12 years. However, the company was sold to Armor Secure Escrow, as everyone knows. And I've been in this business ever since actually Fidelity was actually owners of the escrow company. Then actually Armor Secure actually bought it, which is actually based in London. And we've been working with the same people, the same agents, and Pablo and myself. Well, Pablo has been longer than I have, but probably, we have a lot of years of experience working the escrow. We've been 12 years in Mexico City. And myself, I've been 8 years. And Pablo, I think you've been for almost the 12 years.
15.
Wow.
15.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
15 years because the title insurance company that we actually also own has been in business before the escrow company actually got involved in doing escrows.
That's good. So, guys, or Deborah, could you tell me a little bit more about Armor Secure? So, it was a company that was established before in the States or outside Mexico, and then they decide to open it here? Or could you give us a little bit more or info about Armor Secure, who you are, guys?
Sure. Actually, we're actually a Mexican company that actually has escrow accounts basically in the U.S., which we have with Citibank, and in Mexico, we actually use Banamex dollars and Banamex pesos as well. And basically, it's very easy to actually open an escrow account with us. And with all of our experience, I've been in this business for 25 years in the U.S. So basically, I know how the U.S. operates as well as Mexico. It's very simple and very, and it's attractive for agents, for buyers, and for sellers because actually they know their funds are secure. And basically, we've been working with many agents. We have actually increased sales over the years. And, we have a lot of experience doing this. Also, we also take care of our clients to make sure that, we actually provide them insurance and, being clear on everything and all transactions, and their money is always secure unless we have actually written authorizations from both parties to actually release funds.
That's good.
And we also do a background check on every single person that actually deposits funds into our accounts to make sure to be in compliance with the, money laundering laws that exist. We actually have a program that is actually, we can tell with CIA, FBI, Interpol, basically that they're not actually in conflict with any interest of money laundering laws.
That's good. So, do you have what is the rate that you charge for escrow to open an escrow?
Well, residential deals, we actually it's $750 plus tax.
Okay.
And basically, if it's a commercial deal, that's something different. We actually also have been working with developers to, if they want to purchase a land that's actually a commercial property. But basically, for residential deals, we actually just charge the 750.
Okay. And how many accounts people can put in the escrow? I mean that they can send the money. That the escrow can send the money to different accounts. How many accounts are valid to do? 2, 3, 5, 10? I don't know.
You're meaning on one file, or
Yeah. For
because
example,
basically,
if, if,
uh-huh.
if a seller has 10 kids, I don't know, and he wants to give money to all of the kids, it's a limit of number of accounts um, that
Oh,
the seller has to put there, or it doesn't matter.
actually, if you're talking, well, our 750 actually deposits coming in, basically incoming wires. Basically, we don't have a limit. For outgoing wires, once it closes, of course, with the notary letter and everything, that because we need to actually make sure that actually everything has been closed. Basically, we have a limit of 10 transactions. After that, basically, we can make an arrangement, but we usually charge $25 for outgoing wires from our side, up to 10.
Okay, good, good, good.
And of course, because of the money laundering law, they actually have to let us know and give us certain documentations that they're associated with the deal, or if the parent is involved, basically, their birth certificates, passports, and everything, because we actually need to know where the money is going to, as well as why, as well as the money coming into our accounts.
Okay. So technically, so you have some steps or some documentation that the buyer needs to provide, and the seller also has to provide. Correct? That's what you say.
Correct. Basically, our contracts actually, to be an complete how to call it, complete file. We actually, first of all, we need the contract and sales agreement that basically they have to sign, as well our escrow agreement, together with the KYC form, which is the Know Your Client form.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Know Your Client form, we need an ID. If it's in Mexico, we need the IFE. If it's in the U.S., the passports, as well as the proof of addresses. And if it's a company, it's a little bit different, because we need like the acta constitutiva if it's a Mexican company, and if it's in the U.S., of course, we need the articles of incorporation to make sure who is the people involved, and they actually have to do something with the transaction. As well with the seller, we need the same documentation, because we need to know where the money is going to, especially the sellers, if it's their son, we allow it, but we need actually certain documentation that actually it's their son, and basically it's not a third party actually, you know that is not involved in the transaction, because basically we're transparent, and we actually, we do need documentation to support the transaction to be, everything to be valid.
That's good. So your contract, the contract that the buyers and the sellers they have to sign, it is in two languages, Spanish or English, or just in English?
Mexican law actually makes it to be in Spanish. That is why our escrow agreement is actually bilingual.
Oh, that's good.
The know your client forms, basically, depends. That doesn't matter. We have Spanish and English versions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually, they ask you for the same amount of documentation and things like that, but it makes it easier for our clients.
Okay. So do you have a lot of Mexican clients, let's say Mexican buyers, that they are using escrow, or it's more than people that are non-Mexicans from the States, Canada, or Europe?
Well, we actually deal with a lot of clients, a lot of Mexicans as well. Actually, the Mexicans is actually learning about our products, which is very, it's more comfortable for them to actually use an escrow company than the old ways that they used to do, because actually it gives them comfort as well, dealing with out of out of the country people. And it's actually also more notaries are using us, more agents are using us, because we give that tranquility and that comfort that the client needs in order to close a transaction. Because as they know, the escrow company is actually neutral in the transaction. So basically, in order to release funds, we need a written instruction from both parties to actually release funds. So that makes them a little bit more comfortable using our services. But it has actually grown. 8 years ago, I would tell you it was Canadian, Americans, Europeans, more people that are usually used to use the escrow company. But now we've seen basically it has actually grown to Mexican citizens as well to actually use it.
That's good. So tell me, do you have just an account just in dollars, or do you have it in another currency? Let's say if someone from Canada wants to buy a property here in Puerto Vallarta or in Rivera Nayarit, do you have that type of an account, or is just in US dollars, or also in pesos, or how that works?
At this moment, we're only using US dollars and pesos accounts, but we're actually, we're starting to grow to actually open another escrow account in basically Canadian dollars, but that's a work in progress at this moment.
From the seller perspective, because I receive this question most of the time, they want to know how fast their money is going to be in their account. Can you please just talk to us briefly about how long it takes to that the seller gets the money in their account?
Well, we actually do transfers between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So basically, as soon as we have the instructions, if it closes after 1 o'clock, we usually send the following day. By 9 to 10 o'clock, we start working on the transfers.
Oh, okay. So it's
And this is yes, but it all depends on their receiving banks. If
oh,
I get it at 11 o'clock, basically we send it out. By 11 o'clock, we send those transfers out. However, if it goes to the Europe or Canada, it might take 24 hours to Canada. It might take 48 hours to Europe. However, if it's within the US, it's a domestic wire. So it usually takes within 30 to 1 hour. If it's like, you know, bank accounts like Citibank, Wells Fargo, like Bank of America, big accounts, well, big banks, I'm sorry.
yeah.
It usually takes within 30 minutes for them to receive their funds if they're released from our escrow account.
Okay, that's pretty good. It's good that they know. So now,
Yes, we try to work as fast as possible, but depending on the volume that we have that day, basically, it goes out within, you know, before 12 o'clock.
okay, that's good. Good to know. That's a good piece of information. So we have in this conversation also we have Pablo that do you have this other area that it's
Title insurance.
insurance? Yes, I was supposed to say building insurance, nothing related with that. No, it's title insurance. Sorry. So Paulo, could you tell us a little bit more about how that works, how people they can approach you with that, and also the fee that you charge with that are more secure charge?
Sure. Title insurance works pretty the same as in the US.
Okay.
Basically, the biggest difference is in the title search. Unfortunately, in Mexico, we have to do the title search at the public registry.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes us around 15 business days to have a title search done.
Okay.
So that's the biggest difference between us or a process here in Mexico than in the US. And basically, the title policy works the same as in the US. I mean, you only pay the premium once, and your policy is valid uh, for all the time the owner owns the property. So it could be 3 years or it can be 90 years.
Okay.
The fees depends on the amount to be insured. Most of the in Cabo, most of the title searches are around 750 US dollars.
Mhm.
There are some developments where we have a special price because we have all the title chain already done. So on those developments, we charge, I think, around 500 US dollars for the title search.
Yeah.
And the premiums goes, I mean, it depends, basically it depends on the amount to be insured. So let's say a policy for $1 million, it's around 7,000 US dollars. And again, you only pay it once, and it goes through all, I mean, for as long as that you own the property.
Oh, that's good. Is that title insurance? It's transferable. Let's say I own the property and then I'm gonna sell it to Deborah. Is that something that I can transfer to her?
No, no, no. Once you sell it to Deborah, let's say in 10 years,
Yep.
Deborah has to pay for their own title policy.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good. Good to know.
But
And
however,
yeah,
Alfonso, it's important to note that if they have a policy, it's actually easier for them to actually purchase the property because during 10 years, for instance, if I own the property, basically they know that for 10 years, nothing has actually happened. So it gives them that tranquility as well that basically there hasn't been the problems with that property or anything like that.
yeah, that's that's pretty good.
Right, Pablo?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Now, guys, during all these crazy times that everyone is going through. So, have you had any issues with the COVID and the transactions that are happening right now, or everything's pretty stable? Or
For the escrow, it has been pretty stable.
okay,
For us in the title insurance, it has been a complete mess. I mean, we have to go, as I was telling you, to the public registry to do the title search, and most of the public registries in Mexico are closed. So if we don't do the title search, we cannot issue a policy. So it has been a very complicated for us for the title insurance company. For the escrow, the banks are working as usual, so it haven't been so many troubles. I mean, Deborah, it's working in her home and in the office, so the title search we for the title searches we have many problems right now. I mean, there are many delays, and we have to wait until the public registry is open.
well, and for example, in this case, Paulo, you notify the agent and or the buyers about that. That is a delay, I guess. That is gonna take maybe if it takes 15 days, maybe it's gonna or could take like a month, maybe.
Yeah, we have been, I mean, let's say in Cabo, we have a very good relation with the public registry, so we are able to do the title searches even if it's closed for everyone, let's say, because it's open only for notaries and for special transactions. But we have been able to do title searches in Cabo. But for example, in Monterrey,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't been able to do anything for the last 3 months. So what we are doing is, if we have something in Monterrey, we said, hey, you know what, the public registry is closed. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. And as soon as we can start working on the public registry, we will let you know so we can start on the title search. So it depends on every state, but in some of them are able to do something like in Cabo or Tijuana or Puerto Vallarta, but not in Querétaro, Aguascalientes, Monterrey, Guadalajara. We have had many issues there.
Okay. Now, Deborah, about the escrow, do you work do you have presence or do you work also, or do you receive files from any part of Mexico? If someone is looking to buy a property, I don't know, in Mexico City or in Cabo, Armor Secure, it's able to get those files, or is just, let's say in this case that I'm familiar with, Vallarta and Rivera Nayarit, or is just entire Mexico?
Well, basically, we open escrows entire Mexico. You know, with the coronavirus and things like that, we're still operating as normal. You know, we're working from home and everything, and we're doing the transfers as we always do. Like you guys know, we always are available for all of you via emails or via our cell phone numbers and everything. I go to the office because our transfers, since you know they're secure and everything, that's why I have to go to the office to actually approve transfers to make sure that there's not, you know, nothing wrong with, you know, what is going on in the entire world.
Yeah.
So I make sure that basically the money goes to the seller and it goes to the buyer, but basically we're open for business and anywhere in the country. And yes, if it is Puerto Vallarta, Nuevo Nayarit, Guadalajara, Cabo San Lucas, San Miguel Allende, Cabos, Mexico City, Querétaro, like you name it, Cancun. Basically, we open files all over the country in Mexico City.
Well, that's pretty good. Pretty good that people that they are watching this and they're not considering maybe Vallarta as their place, that they know that you are everywhere. So that's that. Thank you for that information. Good. Well, thank you guys. I know that everyone is very busy and you have to keep going with your duties in work. So just could you tell us where people can find you? Could be your social media, could be your email, could be your cell phone. I don't know. Whatever that you want to share with us, please do it. Now is the moment.
Sure. Our website is actually www.armorsecure.com, or they can always reach us at the office at 917708660. My direct line ends with the 1. Or if they have any questions or anything, I'm always reachable via email, and I respond to, as you know, my emails right away, which is at Deborah.Plaschinski@armorsecure.com.
And my email, it's pablo.marti@armorsecure.com.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, guys, to taking the time to have this conversation with me, and that I can share this with everyone that is in the other side of their computer. So thank you so much, guys, and well, have a fantastic day. And for the rest of the people, I'll see you next week with another interesting topic and webinar. Take care, guys. Bye.